Hello, everyone.
Yo.
Today is a little bit different. We planned on just talking about our things that made us nostalgic, and because we discussed about this during previous stream when we reacted to bad video game music, and we just ended up at the end talking about Pajama Sam. So we figured that this time we just talk about nostalgia. I might ask some questions, and you guys can participate. And who knows? He might. I forgot what I was going to say.
I don't know what you're gonna say. I'm not in your head. Just like nostalgia, it's forgotten quickly, fleeting, gone, goodbye.
And if this kind of podcast style goes um, we might do it again. Unfortunately, I had a better presentation for this. Unfortunately, the streaming program I use, I need to go like premium to do half of the things I want to do.
Oh, I'm sure eventually when you get more stuff, you'll go premium. But you know,
I'm thinking of waiting until I get an actual good computer to like get OBS or something. So,
are you asking the viewers to donate? Is that what you are?
about that, I found out that I have to have 1,000 subscribers to be super chat verified, and unfortunately, I only have like 115 subscribers if I remember correctly.
Don't delay. Subscribe today.
What is my thumbnail? But anyways,
It's me.
it's not even you, it's just my icon.
It's totally me because your icon is me. Everybody knows this.
Yep. So let's see, what should we talk about first?
You know what? For me, because this is a nostalgic topic, and I think it depends upon what
Oh,
you
here.
determine. Sorry, what you determine to be nostalgic. But I think that this particular thing will spark debates. So I grew up watching the Street Sharks. I didn't watch the Ninja Turtles because I thought they were kind of silly and not very interesting at all.
Fair enough.
I To me that was the definitive teen like thing. That for me that was it. There was nothing else. I didn't like the
Hi,
Ninja
Doc.
Turtles. Hey Duck. I didn't think they were neat. I just was all like Street Sharks. So like bringing it onto that idea, like you could say that that's my nostalgic team action superhero team. Power Rangers, Street Sharks.
Oh my gosh. Uh, Back when I was a kid, Power Rangers were my thing, but I was like one of those kids who, you know how when you're a kid, you sometimes want to be like, oh, I totally don't like this thing because my best friend doesn't like this thing.
No,
Oh, okay, well then you were a different person than I was. You were at least a little bit not so much of a doormat like I was as a kid.
no. If I liked the thing, then you betcha I knew everything there was to like about that thing.
Yep, hang on, just plugging my phone in.
Oh, good, you made my thing
I
explode.
I know your computer's like, you put in something. What is that? It's just me trying to charge my phone. I did not bring my charger.
Of all the things you needed to bring, you didn't remember to bring the one thing you needed for your stream.
No, I got my computer charger. I just don't have my phone charger.
You're a pup.
Stop that.
Yeah.
Anyways, um, when I was a kid, one of my friends really liked Power Rangers, and I liked Power Rangers, but one of my other friends didn't like Power Rangers, and so I pretended not to like Power Rangers because I didn't want to be like, oh, but what if I like this thing that they don't like, and what if they don't like me anymore? Because kid me had anxiety or something.
Adult you has anxiety.
You're not wrong.
And I'm not helping you, am I?
Doc says I'm still like that. Okay, at least I'm not alone. At least I'm not alone. But it was like it's gotten better over the days, but back when I was a kid it was way worse because I was like, "Oh, I totally don't like this thing because my cousin doesn't like this thing. So I'll pretend I don't like this thing so that way my cousin doesn't hate me or something even though that's like
No, I was completely different. I like this thing. If you don't like this thing, then goodbye. Don't need you. Goodbye.
yeah. But my nostalgia when it comes to like action shows, um I grew up more on Batman the animated series.
So
Like
did so did I. Well, no, I did not. I had Batman Beyond. That was my Batman. I had a bit of the animated series, but for the most part, I was Batman Beyond. I was introduced to Batman through Batman Beyond.
nice. I didn't catch Batman Beyond as much as I did cuz I actually don't know. Maybe it was just like one of those things I wasn't as interested in until I got older, which okay, that's another thing. What's one thing you didn't like as a kid, but as you grew older, you liked it a little bit better?
Okay. Um.
I mean, it doesn't even have to be like a dislike. It's just like you have a better appreciation of it as you got older. And people in the audience, you can participate too. You can put in your chat these questions as well.
See, and here's the thing. I don't distinctly remember a lot of my childhood. It's in and out vagueness, but
Yeah,
sorry.
it's alright.
Uh, I distinctly remember liking Zords.
Oh my god, Zords.
Yes, I distinctly remember liking Zords because my brothers. That you. This brings back to what you were saying earlier. My brothers like Zords, and as soon as I tried to like Zords like they like Zords, they stopped liking Zords. And I
It,
continued to like Zords though. I continued
uh, that's
to.
always the worst. The moment that you get into something that your friends like, and then the moment you get into it, they're like, we're not so interested in it anymore. That was freaking me with Beyblades. one of my one of my friends liked Beyblades. I got into it, and then the moment I got into Beyblades, they were like, "We moved on to something else now." I'm like, "Gosh darn it!" but for me, that's really hard to say, cause like I said, actually, I think it was Batman Beyond because I didn't hate it. It was just one of those things I wasn't like the most interested in as a kid because God forbid it's a new Batman and
I mean,
being
it's still the old Batman. He's just mentoring a younger generation of Batman.
no, you get it. I was one of those kids who hated change. Like my autism was like always flared up when there was change. I didn't watch a lot of the new Digimon series, even though I liked Digimon because the characters changed. And I was like, how dare you?
I don't like change.
I don't like it. No, that was Kid Me. And I think I've gotten a better appreciation for Batman Beyond, especially after we went to WeebCon. Doc says, I hate dressing up all fancy, but now I really want to wear suits and dresses. Oh my gosh.
Oh, okay. I have something for this. So when I was a kid, when I went to school, I would wear fedora hats and uh, like a nice, not like a nice suit, it was a thrift store suit, but I would wear fedora hats and a suit. And one day, I'm going to
Mm-hmm.
class,
Mm-hmm.
and this jerk, he takes my fedora hat and he throws it in the trash. And it's like,
Oh!
what are you doing? What are you wearing? I'm like, why? I'm not bothering anybody. I haven't done anything to deserve that. But I had lost my favorite hat. I
Ah!
had lost my favorite fedora hat for that, and I was like, I don't dress like extensively out there because of that weird experience. I want to go back to dressing bizarrely because it doesn't matter anymore.
Yeah, it doesn't matter anymore, but oh god, if that had happened to me as a kid, I would have cried because that would have been just devastating.
Yeah, my mom asked me what happened to my hat, and I was like, well, a dash hole dash.
YouTube.
Yeah.
I want to get monetized.
Restriction words placed here ruined my hat.
Yes. Uh, oh, I feel so bad because I know what that's like, sort of. Um, so when I was a kid, I loved Hamtaro. Like I loved Hamtaro. Oh, you have no idea. I had like a bunch of like little figures and I drew it a lot. Well, I also liked Hamtaro and Bijou before I even knew what the term shipping was. And so I had a little picture of them getting married and one of my friends took it and ripped it up. And I was so devastated.
What the asterisk slash F?
I mean, I was gonna say I think hell is a perfectly acceptable word.
Nah, I'm going to be unuseful, but also very helpful.
Fair
Yeah.
enough.
Guess what? You're gonna get variations of everything I'm thinking of.
Yeah. But I was so upset. I was just like, why'd you do that? And I don't remember why they did that, but I was
Did
just
they ever like? It's not like they didn't like the ship, or
I think it was just because, well, they were just kind of being a bully 10-year-old, 9-year-old. I don't. It's been so long that I don't remember why they did such a thing, other than being jerk kid. Jerk kids be jerk kids at times.
I guess.
But speaking of like what Doc said about fancy dresses, I was one of those kids who was just like, "Oh, I'm not like them other girls. I don't like pink and Barbies, despite the fact that I had a lot of pink and Barbies. I don't like makeup. Okay, I still don't quite like makeup because it feels weird on my skin. Dresses. I mean, I do sometimes like dresses.
You're getting off topic.
It's still part of the nostalgia.
Is it though?
Yes, it's still very much part of the nostalgia.
Well, it sounds like you're not on topic, but you know what? I don't care.
Well, yeah. But that was me. I was like that kid that was just like, oh, I totally don't like pink. Despite that, I do. And I actually did like Barbies. I just didn't show it off because I wanted to be like totally
Different?
unique.
Well, yes, being different doesn't that work out for you?
Exactly. Which, ironically enough, if I had just like admitted that I liked pink and I liked Barbies, I actually would have been pretty different from some of my colleagues and friends.
Did you say colleagues?
I did say colleagues.
You're a very unique individual. I mean, your vernaculary is
My vernacular.
yeah. You heard me, vernaculary.
My vernacular. You mean vocabulary?
No, you heard what I said.
Vernaculary. I have never heard of that word.
You've never heard of vernaculary?
Not like that, at least.
Oh, well, now you have.
but but yeah, there was actually one Barbie that I did have as a kid.
I have a bunch of them.
Yeah, I know you have a bunch of them because much like I did, I wanted to make my own custom Barbies.
See, that's exactly. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to do it, but
It's really hard.
yeah, that's why I just keep collecting them because it's. I'm sure at some point in my existence I'll actually get around to doing that, but until then, I just have a bunch.
Yep. But I also used to use Barbies for things like poses when I would draw.
weirdly enough, that's not what I never really thought about it that way. I mean,
Yeah, it's basically like if you don't have a mannequin, you can use action figures or Barbies to kind of pose them to get what you want.
see, I just never had the patience for that, and my artistic skill doesn't come from any class or anything else. I just kind of go, I'm gonna draw that now.
That's basically me. A lot of it's self-taught, a lot of it is my mom's influence.
Influential stuff, chick.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But I also had like another question. Do you have a question?
do I have a question? All right. I don't think it can consider itself a question. More or less, it follows the vernacular guideline of nostalgic. So, as you know, TV shows are abundantly nostalgic to everybody who grows up. But as you grow up, it's not nostalgic to that person, but it's nostalgic to a different person.
Ooh.
So, my question is what TV show is nostalgic to you, but not nostalgic to somebody else because they're just now growing up and wouldn't consider it nostalgic?
That's a very interesting question. Um. Oh, hello. Hello, JJ. It's alright. We just started. We're talking about nostalgia. We're gonna ask some questions. You can jump in and answer them in the chat. But anyways, so stuff that would be considered nostalgia to me, but not nostalgic to someone else. Because I have because I have two brothers who are all wildly different age gaps of mine, I think this one should be fairly easy to answer. What's nostalgic to me is things like Courage the Cowardly Dog, but it wouldn't be nostalgic to someone like Alexi because my littlest brother, because, well, he didn't grow up with it. However, I have shown him Courage, and he likes it. It's not necessarily nostalgic to him.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying is even though it wouldn't be nostalgic, it is nostalgic to you. But it's new to him because he doesn't know what it is.
And it's kind of like, I'm very nostalgic for things like the DS and
Ed, and Eddie.
Ed and Eddie. Oh my gosh.
Ed and Eddie would be nostalgic to me, but if I showed it to like one of my nieces, they'd think it's funny, but they probably wouldn't like understand
Yeah,
why I'm enjoying it more than them.
yeah, it'd probably be the same with my brothers. Um, but it's also kind of like things that are nostalgic to my brothers aren't nostalgic to me. Like my middle brother Asher, he's nostalgic for things that I have no nostalgia for. Like, I think you know where I'm going with this one.
I do. I want you to say it because if you say it, I'm gonna laugh.
Do you want to tell the story
No.
after I say it?
Yes, I will, but first go forward.
Okay,
Proceed.
so I wouldn't be nostalgic for the show, but Asher, my middle brother, still remembers a show called Super Duper Sumos. Yes, that's a real show. I'm not making it up. That's a real show.
All right.
And it was stupid.
Okay, so the reason she brings up Super Duper Sumos is I play a wonderful game with her called
We call it Bad Descriptions.
Bad Descriptions. And I think describing
It was Teen Titans.
Teen Titans. Yes, I was giving her a bad description of Teen Titans, and somehow she collectively got to the show Super Duper Sumos.
Yeah,
and I had never heard of this show, so like my brain went, "That's not a real thing."
Yeah, because I was just like, okay, this is probably very wrong, but is it Super Duper Sumos? And you were like, what? What did you say?
What is Super Duper Sumos?
Doc's like, hello, one, hello, Kyo, and two, Doc's like, super, what?
You heard her voice. Super duper sumos.
This was a show that my brother absolutely loved, and I found it to be like incredibly stupid because it was, but it was like his type of humor, and I cannot blame him for that being his type of humor. But yes, it was literally called Super Duper Sumos.
You know what? You know how they say there's brain rot, and stuff is brain rot. It's just it's you know what? That is like nostalgic sort of stuff because someone who grew up on certain things would have it would consider something like let's see here.
Oh, that I think
The Kool-Aid Man
yeah.
bursting through the wall, that could be considered brain rot to someone younger. But to us, that was the thing. That was the shit. The fucking you say oh no 3 times, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah.
No, it's like my version of brain rot as a kid were Gmod videos and YouTube poops.
Oh my god, YouTube poops.
YouTube poops are so awesome.
They are awesome.
But oh god, it just gave me the horrible realization that Skibbity Toilet is going to be nostalgic to someone one day.
Oh my god, it is.
It
is. It is. Oh my god, it is. Somebody someday, at some point, will think Skibbity Toilet is nostalgic.
Yeah. That show sounds so cursed on so many, but it's weird. But yeah.
Are they still talking about Super Duper Sumos?
They are!
Oh, we've done something now, Angel. We've opened up a can of fucking. Sorry.
That's fine.
One swear word per day, I guess.
If this gets like 100 likes, because I know it's not going to get 100 likes, I will do a freaking Super Duper Sumos retrospective. Any video that I'm currently working.
Don't you set a goal? They will meet it. They will meet it, and we'll have to respond to it.
Look, I will do the retrospective. You don't have to.
I'm gonna be there for it. You set a goal. And now we have to do it.
Well, that's only if I get 100 likes. So far, I've only got.
You know how easy it is to have a
Family channel says Sage. Oh my gosh, Sage! I haven't seen you in a while, Sage Ardor.
Hello there, Sage.
Yeah. But yeah, people act like brain rot content is a new thing when I grew up on YouTube poops. Yes, same here.
Right.
Like my version of Skibbity Toilet was this thing called Painless Cupcake.
Oh my god.
You remember Painless Cupcake?
Yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, of course
I thought
do.
it was the only one.
No.
Okay, well that's now I'm scared that this is gonna get 100 likes and I have to do Super Duper Sumos retrospective.
You can't set a goal. You can't set a goal because then you have to deliver. Now, here's another thing I want to like chit chat about for like a microsecond is I had Steve from Blue's Clues. That was the guy. But Steve left and he,
got replaced with Joe. That was Asher's host. Asher grew up with Joe. I did not. I grew up with Steve.
So to me, Steve is nostalgic, but to your brother Asher, so is Joe.
Joe's more nostalgic to him than Steve, and it kind of reminds me of something I was talking about the other day. I can't remember what her name is. Kyo says one of my videos has 3,000 or 30,000 views and 78 likes. But that's about it. And yeah, smaller YouTube channels. It's possible. It's possible that this could get a lot of like views. Anyways, so yeah, he grew up with Joe, and meanwhile I grew up with Steve. And I was talking about something the other day, where the second voice actor or voice actors for Ash Ketchum from Pokemon, hang on, I gotta look it up real quick because I forgot her name. Sarah Nachacheni, I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Um, she's actually been the voice actress of Ash currently longer than Veronica Taylor. However, I grew up with Veronica Taylor. By the time both of my brothers watched Pokemon, Veronica Taylor had long retired. Because if I remember correctly, she retired back in Diamond and Pearl, or maybe it was Black and White. Either way, more people these days would most likely be nostalgic for Sarah rather than Veronica Taylor.
It's just it. You know what flows my funky fresh mind?
What is it?
That I remember um Megas XLR.
I hear that's actually coming back.
If it is, then nice. But um because that was my introduction to giant robots. I was not introduced to giant robots until Megas XLR, and then I was introduced to giant robots again with Big O.
Oh my gosh, Big O. I grew up with freaking Gundam Wing.
Never have seen any Gundam. I've never seen any Gundam, but Megas XLR was my introduction to giant robots.
Yeah, Gundam Wing was mine, or maybe it was Evangelion, because despite
Get
being
in the get in the stream, Shinji.
get in the stream. God, what was it that one time I said when we were playing Fortnite and I said like get in the balls, Shinji, or what was it?
I don't remember. I
Can't remember. We were playing Fortnite and I made that sort of joke, and now I can't remember what it was. But yeah, I was one of those kids that, despite like Evangelion being like way out of my age range at the time, I still watched it because I rented it from Blockbuster, which is probably really nostalgic.
There's some nostalgia.
Yeah, uh Sage says almost everyone got recast because dubbing was swapped over from 4Kids to Pokemon Company's in-house studio. Also, Veronica Taylor voiced Leo in Tekken 6? I did not know that.
Well, now you know. See, we're gaining information by other people having nostalgia.
Exactly. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Like, and JJ says, not gonna lie, creepypasta is kind of nostalgic for me. Kind of nostalgic for me too. Like,
I never got into them. Never. The earliest creepypasta I think I ever got into was maybe Slender Man.
uh, first creepypasta I can think of reading is Red Mist, which is aka Squidward's. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to say this on YouTube.
Nah, probably not. So
Self termination. We'll just say.
yeah, let's just leave it at that. That he doesn't live very long.
Exactly, but to me that was like so incredibly like mysterious and scary, but also at the same time it's so cheesy nowadays.
Oh yeah, it would be. But back then, I mean,
Back then it was like, oh my gosh, that's actually terrifying. But I also grew up on Jeff the Killer.
I did not enter in. See, again, like
Like,
again, I was introduced to Slenderman, but I never got into Slenderman. I knew what it was. I just didn't know exactly what I was like.
I never played Slenderman. I only watched playthroughs, and that was like,
I didn't even watch playthroughs. I knew from word of mouth what it was. I didn't actually know exactly what it was.
yeah. Veronica Taylor also voiced Yuri in The Art of Fighting or OVA. Oh, that's so cool! I didn't know she voiced Yuri. Oh, that's awesome. The dialogue in Jeff the Killer is so corny and cheesy. Of course, it's corny and cheesy. I think that's kind of why I liked it so much as a kid, because it was like reading a B movie.
Well, considering I couldn't read, that's probably the biggest reason I didn't get into stuff like that.
Yeah,
Yeah, kind of hard to get into those sort of things when you can't read very well.
I understand completely. Um, but yeah, what was okay? I've got another one.
Mm,
Speaking of like stuff, what was the first thing that you can think of being like really into?
like really, like
Like the first thing that you.
that, like caught my collective. Oh, I'm not One Piece. Obviously, it would be One Piece.
Oh wow, so you've been a fan of One Piece since like. Oh
Okay, okay. It goes this. It goes like I was interested a little bit into Dragon Ball, but never caught on. I never really caught on the Dragon Ball bandwagon. Bleach sort of pushed, but then I I just I don't know. And then One Piece completely took over when Four Kids hit it, and then when I completely like my life got consumed by One Piece.
yeah, no, I get that because that was me with Pokemon. I
You know what? Now that I'm thinking far enough back, I have to actually really think about this because thinking far enough back, it was probably Code Geass.
oh wow, you watched Code Geass as a kid?
Yes, I
Oh,
I have to think far enough back, but
I didn't think Code Geass was that old.
it's pretty old.
Huh?
It's pretty. You forget that Code Geass is pretty old.
Yeah,
Yeah, no, that's probably I was 17, I think, at the time. I think. I don't know. It's a blur,
yeah.
but I do remember distinctly watching Code Geass as a kid.
Doc says I watched Dan TDM as a kid, and yeah, so did Alexi. Alexi still likes Dan TDM. But anyways, yeah, I didn't think Code Geass was that
It's
old.
pretty old.
Huh?
Code Geass is old.
Then again, you're a little bit younger than me, so
That's true. That's what's interesting about nostalgia because depending upon your age range,
yeah,
different things are gonna be nostalgic for you.
yeah, because you're like me, I believe.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because I'm 39.
you're not
No,
39.
no, no. I'm 30.
You're just 30.
I'm just 30. I will be 31 this upcoming year.
Yeah, you'll be 31 next month.
Yeah, I know, right? I'm gonna be
Yeah.
31.
So yeah, we are 4 years apart. That's what I thought.
Yeah, but if I remember correctly, I would watch Adult Swim when I was supposed to be asleep.
I think everyone did that.
Yeah, here the funny thing is, it was a school. It would be a school night, and what I would do is I would kind of like duck into my bed and wait until like it got dark enough, and then I'd just turn on the TV, turn it real low, and then watch Code Geass. And if I heard someone coming back, because my mom would periodically probably check on us, I'd flick it off and lay back down. Or I'd do the opposite. I'd lay on the floor and build like a pillow me in the bed so it looked like I was still in bed, but in reality I was on the floor just like
It
hoping
just sounds like something out of like Spy Kids or something. I love
I
it.
was hoping that she would think I was in bed and just like so I could go back to watching TV in the middle
That
of
just
the night.
sounds like something out of like a movie or
Yeah, no.
like a
Where do
kid.
you think I got it from? I got it from TV. I got it from TV.
I wish I thought of that as a kid because I did replace Code Geass with Fully Cooley and I did pretty much the same thing.
Footy Cootie. Oh my god. FLCL rules.
Ow, careful.
Sorry.
It's alright. But yeah, so yeah,
What?
I did the same thing where it's just like, oh, nothing yet. Let's see here. Oh man, I didn't know Dan TDM was retiring. I didn't know Dan TDM got Parkinson's. What?
What?
Um, Nicholas says I got introduced to Code Geass through Abridged. through an abridged series. So end up okay. Funny story about that, Nicholas. That's currently
wait.
what?
The soup. Is he talking about the soup abridged? What the soup?
I don't know. I have not seen Code Geass abridged.
No. Hey, I need you to come here. I can't. I'm buying clothes.
Oh,
No, you
that's
need to-
where that comes from.
Yes, that's from the abridged.
That's where that comes from.
Yeah.
I thought that was just an Undertale meme someone made.
No, that's the Code Geass abridged.
What?
Hey man, I need you to come here. Oh, I can't. I'm buying clothes. Well, I need you to get over here. I can't find them. What do you mean you can't find them? It means I can't find them. There's only soup. What do you mean there's only soup? Go to the next aisle. There's still more soup. What do you mean there's more soup? There's just more soup. Go into the next aisle. You don't have to shout at me. There's still more soup. Where are you right now? I'm at soup. What do you mean you're at soup? I mean I'm at soup. What store are you in? I'm at the soup store. Why are you buying clothes at the soup store? Fuck.
I thought that was something an Undertale fan
No.
came up with.
No,
That's from Code Geass abridged. Oh my god! I guess I learned something new.
Yeah.
today.
You learned that the soup meme, which is the best meme of the entirety of the internet during like the early 90s, mid 2000s, I think.
Probably 2000s. Yeah,
The soup meme.
because like YouTube didn't quite exist in the 90s.
What if it did though?
Oh man.
People of the 90s would be so lazy.
Oh god. But
yeah, early 2000s, yes.
oh my god.
Now you know.
I didn't know that's where that came from. I just thought that was like invented by like the
No.
Undertale Sands and Papyrus thing. Abridged dubs or something else. I tell you what, says Kyo. Yeah, I agree because currently Wyatt and I have been like watching Goblin Slayer abridged. And I have not seen the original Goblin Slayer, so that's literally my introduction to Goblin Slayer.
And I slay you goblins.
Which is very funny. So like yeah, speaking of abridges,
Dragon Ball Z abridged is the definitive version of Dragon Ball Z for me. There is no other version that exists other than Team 4 Stars. I actually can't watch Dragon Ball Z without repeating Team 4 Stars lines.
with me it's like freaking Yu-Gi-Oh! Abridged, and I remember buying the mangas of Yu-Gi-Oh! And just hearing the abridged voices in my head.
Yeah.
Like not the 4Kids versions.
No.
Nope, the abridged versions. Even though I had watched the 4Kids versions. But
that's nostalgic.
yeah.
That's big nostalgia because for a lot of people, 4Kids was their gateway to anime.
Yeah, like as much as we like to clown on 4Kids these days,
even though 4Kids is raps, slaps. I don't care. The One Piece rap slaps so hard.
This is like your very unpopular opinion, but yeah.
What do you mean it's an unpopular opinion?
A lot of people didn't like the rap.
That's crazy. How do you not like the 4Kids rap? It slaps so hard.
I guess that's your nostalgia. Think about it.
It's not just nostalgia, my man. That was the best part, to hear the rap.
Yeah. With me it's like, but to me it's like Pokemon. Like Did you know that the Pokemon theme, the American Pokemon theme from the original, is so popular that even like Japan has played it before?
I just think that you're underestimating the greatness of the Four Kids rap for One Piece.
But yeah, Pokemon, along with a couple of other ones, were my gateway to anime. I think Sailor Moon was my second one.
Fighting evil by daylight. Do 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 do. It's the one called Sailor Moon.
Yeah, I loved that series as a kid. But that was another gateway to anime. Um, this one is also pretty nostalgic for me, but back when I was a kid, there was this block called Boomerang on Cartoon Network.
Boomerang.
Speed Racer.
The hammer.
Oh my gosh, those were actually like a lot of the pilots to certain shows.
Right?
But I had forgotten what I was going to say.
I have ruined your train of thought because that's what I'm here for.
Any questions?
Yeah, to those who did have Four Kids, were there any specific Four Kids raps that just they
Or
slap?
for kids songs that you think just-
songs or raps that just kind of like that's it. That's it for you. You're good. You can't be argued about this idea.
honestly for me would be the original Pokemon theme because that song was like everything to me growing up along well Digimon wasn't dubbed by 4Kids.
No, Digimon, digital monsters.
But I do remember that song. Speaking of Digimon, I ever watched the Digimon movie?
No, I did not.
Oh my gosh, okay, so you wouldn't
Maybe. You know what? It's kind of getting fuzzy, but I think I remember watching the Power Ranger movie.
Okay, I might have. I might have watched the Power Ranger movie, but I can't remember. Um, there was a very much a weirdness to the Digimon movie when it came to the West, and there was this thing called Angela Anaconda.
What?
Yes, there was this thing called Angela Anaconda, and it was a Nickelodeon show at the time, I believe Nickelodeon, and it was just like basically a weird thing of like this cutout monochrome girl with like another cutout hair. It's very weird to
Was it like one of those weird things? If you looked at it the wrong way, you're like, it's not right.
It's basically like trying to it's basically like that. But yeah, Angela Anaconda was like a very weird show that like aired, and it had a short on the Digimon movie for some unknown reason, where she's like, "I'm gonna be Angela fight the the teacher or something." It was like really weird.
Like this sounds correct. Like I have like a nugget. It's like a little bitty nugget.
It's like one of those things that you had to kind of be there to understand.
You know what else is nostalgic?
What?
Where in the world is Carmen San Diego?
Oh my gosh. I liked that show as a kid. I just don't remember too much. Someone had said, "Oh God, that show was a mistake." And yeah, okay, Angela Anaconda was Nick and ABC later on. Okay, so that's probably why they put it on frickin' the Digimon movie in front. If I remember correctly, it's been forever. Digimon used to air on like it aired on Kids WB.
Oh, Kids WB. Dang.
Gosh, yes.
Gosh, yes.
Gosh, yes.
God,
But
we're old. We're so old.
we're so old. But yeah, so it was like one of those fever dreams that you tell someone, like, you got already what?
Hi, name's Paul.
That's also a fever dream,
Right?
but no, it's like me trying to explain super duper sumos to you. It's just like
I don't think that's real. It doesn't sound real.
it's just as real as Angela Anaconda being in front of the Digimon movie.
You know, if it is real, and there's a big if it turns out that it's really a thing, not just something that you made up,
Make it up.
I will eat your hat.
Don't eat my hat. You just fixed it.
I'll unfix it and then proceed to eat it at the same time.
Oh my gosh.
Mm.
The opening with Angela Anaconda is on YouTube. It's 4 minutes long. It was 4 minutes long?
Oh.
Why was it 4 minutes long?
Because it was?
It was like very much terrible animation. It felt more like a drug show than a cartoon. They're talking about Angela Anaconda. Yeah, that was like extremely weird.
You're not really seeing the things you're seeing. You're on drugs. Oh, do you remember? This is your brain. This is your brain on drugs.
Oh god, that was drilled to me as a kid. Because okay, my mom actually used to work in the police force, and occasionally I would go to the police station to watch those little PSAs, and occasionally we'd have to go to like some sort of drug awareness kids convention thing. It was like a little event that had like bounce houses and stuff. But you could also practice fire drills and stuff and say no to guns and whatnot.
Oh my gosh, say no to guns? I love guns. I don't want to say no to guns. I don't want to do anything such a say.
I'm pretty sure this will not be nostalgic to you, but there was like this anti-gun eagle called like what was his name? Mom knows the name, but he was like this eagle who was just like, stop, don't touch, leave the area, tell an adult if you find a gun just laying around because mainly because it was like a response to some incident. But
dude, no, that doesn't ring too many bells.
Probably because I grew up on like so many safety procedures.
I just remember Scruff the crime dog. Take a bite of the crime.
Yeah.
McGruff. Yeah, no, it's McGruff the crime dog taking a bite of the crime.
Yeah, I saw that one too. But yeah, so there was this eagle, and he was actually voiced by the same person who did Aladdin in like the Aladdin TV show.
Dude, you just like unlocked core memory. Core memory unlocked the Aladdin TV show.
Yeah, he was voiced by the same voice actor who played like Aladdin in the Aladdin TV show, if I remember correctly.
Dude, how did you just like core memory unlocked Aladdin?
All because I'm like trying to remember this freaking eagle's name.
It doesn't matter.
It matters to me because I remember like this freaking eagle.
Did you though? Did it really happen, Angel? Are you just yanking me along to believing there was an eagle that did gun safety?
There was an eagle that did gun safety. You know what? Frick, I'm gonna look it up real quick.
Fudge.
Yeah. Eddie the Eagle! That was it! Someone actually knew. Someone actually knows what I'm talking about. It was Eddie the Eagle.
I don't believe you. No, I do.
Yeah. You'll have to tell Mom about that one because she can tell you.
Because the last time your mom started to tell me, we died in Fortnite.
Oh God, okay then.
Yeah, no, your mom's a lovely lady. Talks too long.
You know, she keeps claiming that she's not autistic, and there are times where I don't believe her on that one.
Tom and Jerry is nostalgic to a lot of people. And the you know where I always go, I don't believe you, is from that one episode. Don't you believe him?
Funny enough, Asher's also nostalgic for Tom and Jerry because back when he was little, we would watch Tom and Jerry all the time, and what we would do is kind of just like improvise voices for things that were going on within like if Tom's chasing his, he would be like, "I'm gonna get you," and I'd be play as Jerry and be like, "No, don't get me." And it was very fun. It was basically our version of Snap Keep What.
No, I was just thinking because I did that with my sister one time. So my dad left like this old movie, like this old black and white movie on the TV once, and me and Ray are both home alone. But there's no sound. It's just an old black and white movie. So I'm standing in front of the TV, Raven's standing in front of the TV, and like I'm a snack you, sweetheart. Yeah, see? Boat noises. We were just
Sounds like a Sonic. What are you guys talking about? Um. Oh, Eddie the Eagle. Yeah, it does sound like a Sonic OC. Nicholas said I saw Eddie the Eagle in first grade. Oh my gosh, yes. And yeah, JJ says Tom and Jerry was very nostalgic for him as well. Yeah, because like I grew up on Tom and Jerry. My brothers, well, one of my brothers grew up on Tom and Jerry because we would play that little thing where we just like kind of improvise dub over Tom and Jerry times. And ah, so let's see here. What other questions do we have about nostalgia? I mean, you guys can pitch in questions too.
yeah, no, we will answer any questions you got.
Yeah, because, you know, originally I was going to have a slide where I would have a bunch of questions, but I was so busy the other day that I just didn't.
Yeah, it's fine. Sometimes the best things come us out of not knowing what we're preparing to do.
Yeah, honestly, improvising improvising is just something I'm the best at when it comes to streams. Um, Although I am working on a scripted video.
Oh, I didn't know this.
Yep, I am actually working on a scripted thing that's gonna be kind of talking about nostalgia because there are some things in there that I grew up with. But first, okay, I was just checking the comments, but
First, a
um,
word from our sponsors.
uh,
Family Steamer Apartment Cleaner.
oh my gosh, I remember, I remember seeing that. Anyways, oh sorry, just my mom tagged me in something on Facebook. I'll look at it in a moment, mom. But anyways, what was I going to say? Oh yeah, so the scripted thing I'm working on is which Smash Bros characters have been in or have a TV show or movie or have been in a TV show or movie.
Okay, well, obviously, so it's Mario because of the Mario movie and the TV show,
Yeah, and
and lots of other things. You know,
yeah,
Mario's got the biggest, I think.
actually throughout my research, Mario's got a bit, but not as much as Sonic when it comes to
Well,
the.
obviously, it's Sonic also has like lots. You know what I would love for? I mean, it was Donkey Kong's show,
Oh my gosh.
but I want a spin-off show with King K. Rool.
Oh, I
I
would
want a
love that.
completely spin-off show with King K. Rool as the main protagonist.
So like
But
the.
you do remember the Donkey Kong show?
Didn't watch a lot of it.
Oh, did you ever see the episode? Good episode.
Oh, hang on.
Hmm.
We had like a bit of an internet issue for a second.
Ah. Well, hopefully it's not because of me trying to play a video game.
It probably is.
Well, then I will leave my video game.
Hang on.
There we go. There we go.
Okay. Yeah, sorry about that. He was trying to play Fortnite and it messed up with like the stream for a second.
Sorry, folks.
But yeah, Kyo says there's a surprising amount of Smash Bros. Fighters that actually have a TV show or anime of them. Yeah, and there was quite
Of course.
Of course, I cannot wait to talk about that one because I actually did watch the Street Fighter.
I just
Well, that
know
anime.
that
It was the Western
like,
cartoon.
It's the Western cartoon, but the best thing about it is just that is always going to be back of my head.
Yep.
Whenever
Also, that's funny because the of course didn't even come from the cartoon. That came from one of the movies. But the reason it's so remembered is because of the Nostalgia Critic joke, which, yeah, Nostalgia Critic is kind of like nostalgic to me.
that's crazy because Nostalgia Critic is nostalgic to you and I, but someone who wouldn't know would is that's not nostalgic. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
That
exactly.
that wouldn't be very nostalgic to them. He'd just be a guy calling
Ex-
himself the Nostalgia Critic.
it's funny because like he talks about nostalgic stuff, but I'm also nostalgic for him at the same time. It's like a weird.
It's just how the world works sometimes.
That's how the world goes round at times.
Yeah, just how the cookie crumbles.
Exactly. But yeah, so yeah, I was talking about um I had lost my train of thought again. No. Gosh darn
Yes,
it.
good.
Gosh
Good.
darn it. I couldn't
Good.
remember what I was going to say.
No, never remember what you're gonna say.
Ah, I'm already bad at that.
Yes.
So anyways, questions,
Good.
questions, questions. Do we have yeah, I understand that one. What?
Inspector Gadget.
Oh my gosh.
Inspector Gadget.
Do you ever have like
Go,
a
Gadget,
toy?
go.
Do you ever have like a toy that you've named after a specific thing?
I think I did, but it's long gone.
Well, okay, so I used to have a purse that I called the Go Go Gadget purse because I would put everything in it, and then like if I needed it, I would pretend that I would take it out of like a secret compartment or something. But yeah, that was always so funny. But sometimes if I was into something, I would name my toys after whatever I was into, regardless of what they were. Did you ever have something like that? Okay. He's thinking. He's thinking. Give him a moment. Give him a moment. Well, anyways, I guess while you're thinking, I will tell like kind of an embarrassing story. It's not overly embarrassing, but it's just like kind of cringe. So, when I was a kid, I was super freaking into cow and chicken. Like, for some reason, that was like one of my hyper fixations. And,
Maybe. The answer to your question is maybe.
okay, now, hang on. So, I wouldn't eat meatloaf, but I would eat it if it was called Happy Meat, because that was an episode in the show, and I wouldn't eat pork chops. But by golly, I would eat pork butt on a stick. And what mom would do was chop up some pork chops and put it on little toothpicks. And I would only eat it that way because autism, I don't know.
It's just a response to what you thought you wanted at the time.
Yeah, exactly.
You got to do what you got to do to get your kid to eat.
Because yeah, I was silly. And
You're still silly.
I was going to say that's never changed.
No, nothing's really changed. You're just from too tiny to actually like go trick or treating because your costume is a box. To
No, okay. Context. My very first Halloween costume was a box, a cereal box, because I was so small as a baby. Like, they thought I was a preemie. They thought I was a premature baby. No, I was actually late. I just was always small.
you're just never not gonna be any bigger. You're just gonna always be big enough to fit in someone's pocket.
I'm always going to be like the tiniest.
And that's why you have so many tiny characters.
Gee, it's like I base it on real life events or something.
Yeah, Whatever happened to Robot Jones?
JJ says, Sesame Street is extremely nostalgic for me. I loved that show when I was young. I did too. I loved Sesame Street when I was a kid. Actually, I kind of appreciate it more as an adult.
Yes, because after babysitting my niece, yeah, no, I can appreciate Sesame Street. Not as a kid, I really think I liked it that much. Elmo was a savage. I don't know if y'all know this, but Elmo was a savage.
Um, I had a little baby cousin that I would babysit every now and again. Unfortunately, family drama just broke it apart. But when she was a baby, she loved Sesame Street. She loved Elmo, especially. And so I like made her a little Elmo pillow, all by myself, all hand sewn. And so when it came to her birthday, she was like 1 or 2, or no, she was about like 2 to 3. And she opens it. She's like, Elmo! It's Elmo!
That's nice.
Yep. And I was like, yes, it is Elmo. You don't need to shout it to the entire restaurant.
She needs to tell everybody that it's Elmo.
Exactly. It's Elmo. And I made that. And even when she got out of Sesame Street, she still had it.
That's
And
that's nice.
yep, and there's times where I wonder if she still has it or not. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. But
It's Elmo.
it's Elmo, and it was awesome.
I'm gonna go get something to drink. Do you want something to drink?
Yes, please.
All right. It was Elmo, because Elmo's a savage.
Uh, Kyo says, true fact about myself, I went to, oh my gosh, Muppets. But Kyo says, true fact about me, I went through most of my life as a vegan until about 5 years ago. I had something very similar as a kid where I watched Babe and I didn't want to eat meat for the longest time. I don't know when that stopped, but I didn't want to eat meat because I was like crying.
I don't think I ever went through that. I've been a carnivore most of my life.
Yep.
If I can remember that I haven't been,
Okay, let's
then
careful the cord.
I am.
There we go.
All right, I'll be back, people.
All right, I'll still keep chatting.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, so another like Elmo story. I used to like be able to do an Elmo impersonation. I can't do it anymore. It's been long lost. But I would read to my little cousin, and you're at 135 pounds. I am so incredibly jealous. But yeah, the original Muppets were pretty nostalgic too. Muppets is another thing that I've grown an appreciation to as I got older. Muppets Christmas Carol was one of my favorite movies, and same with um, what was it called? There was a Muppets movie where Gonzo was trying to find himself, and he found out he was like an alien or something. I used to watch that one a lot, but I can't, for the love of me, remember the name of it at the moment. But I also watched Muppets Treasure Island. That was a lot of fun. I also watched But I feel like I watched more Muppets things, but it's been so long that I can't remember. Remember Kermit from Cute Mario Bros? I have never heard of such a thing. Kermit was in like a what's Cute Mario Bros? Yeah, the Gonzo movie. The Gonzo movie. What was it called? It's gonna bother me until I get home. Yeah, because I'm at my friend's house. But yeah, that's another thing I've grown more of appreciation for ever since I got a little bit older. My uncle did have a Muppets, like a Kermit puppet. Although unfortunately he was like kind of ripped up because his dog would chew everything. Like if I brought a stuffed animal, the dog would chew it, and so I had to keep like things that I cared about away from the darn dog. And so poor Kermit had been chewed up by this darn dog. But yeah, I used to have a DVD of that too.
Yeah.
Ooh, what'd you bring?
Well, 1 more apple juice and 2 potato chips.
Oh, nice. Apple juice. Okay, so speaking of like apple juice, how about this? What was like your favorite commercial growing up?
Well, I keep saying it. It's the Kool-Aid Man.
Yeah, just burst into saying, "Oh yeah,
oh yeah!" It was terrifying to think about because you say "oh no" at least 3 times, and then all of a sudden a porcelain jar, a sentient porcelain jar full of red liquid would burst through your wall.
Well, that was a Family Guy skit."
Yeah, but also if you think about it, that's why it's a skit, because he burst through the wall, shouting, "Oh yeah!"
Yeah, he would.
Hey, Kool-Aid! And then, oh yeah!
Muppets from Space, that was it. Okay, thank you. Because I was talking about a Gonzo movie that I grew up with that I would watch all the time, and I couldn't remember the name for the love of me. Yeah, I'll take a tip. But anyways, my favorite commercial as a kid.
Also, the Gushers commercials. Those were bizarre.
Those were so weird. I didn't eat Gushers because I was afraid that my head would turn into a
gusher,
a gusher or a fruit or something like that.
Right. Fruit of the Loon commercial.
Mm.
Remember Fruit of the Loon?
I used to love that. But yeah. Oh my gosh. Commercials I'm trying to remember that I liked as a kid. There was one commercial that was both kind of creepy, but I also liked it at the same time, where it was advertising Pokemon Red and Blue, and there was this bus driver that would come in and Pikachu. Yeah, now you know. Now you know. He would come in and be like, "Hey, you want to go for a ride?" And Pikachu would be like, "Pikachu," and he's like, "Yeah, whatever, come in." Yeah. And then the bus would, full of Pokemon, would get like squished.
Yeah.
And then he's like, "You gotta catch them all."
Yeah, no, that was disturbing.
It was disturbing, but I liked it for some reason. But yet I was like afraid of some other things. I don't know why. Now make it says someone had said Billy Hatchet and Mario Sunshine commercials live rent free in my head. Oh my gosh, yeah. And the commercial for Super Smash Bros. Melee, or Super Smash Bros. Melee, was on another level. There was a Super Smash Bros. Commercial that I remember, not Melee, but it was for the original one, where Mario people dressed Luigi, Pikachu, and Donkey Kong, and Yoshi, I think.
Mm-hmm.
They would walk through this field. It was singing so happy together, but then they started fighting.
Oh my god, I remember that commercial.
Yep. But yeah, that thing lives rent free in my head too. Because Smash Bros was game history. And the original Smash 64 game is other things that I the scripting process. If someone says they don't make game commercials the same as they did to the 80s and early 2000s.
Right?
Oh, the Mario Got Milk ad. Oh my gosh, yes. So I don't know if you remember this, but I remember this. There was a Got Milk ad because for some odd reason, freaking milk was advertised like it was the new hottest thing in the 90s. And I will never understand why, but it had two kids playing Mario 64, and they were having a hard time jumping over a platform. And they were like, "Jump, Mario, jump!" Kept hitting the wall. And then they're like, "Oh, this game is lame," so they leave. Mario jumps out of the screen, still voiced by Charles Martinet, which that's another thing I'll get to later. Charles Martinet, the Mario jumps out. He goes into the fridge. He starts drinking the milk. He grows really big, and then he goes back into his game, and he starts like stepping on each platform, which is very funny because that was before the new Super Mario Bros. Power Up, where you could just turn like really giant. I wonder if they got inspired by that commercial.
I kind of remember that commercial. Like it's really lost in my nuggets.
Yeah, it's okay if you don't remember that commercial. It's the one that I remember. Yeah, it was like a bootleg / ROM hack of Mario 64 as it looked nothing like the original. Yeah, it's very funny because, like, nowadays if you look back to that commercial, it looks more like something out of New Super Mario Bros. But yeah, commercials for games just aren't as fun, or just aren't fun anymore. I completely and
Right?
utterly agree. Like, there were some video game commercials I remember to this day, and
Crash Bandicoot.
oh, Crash Bandicoot.
My favorite commercial for Crash Bandicoot was when there was the guy in the Crash Bandicoot costume, and he would go around like messing up Nintendo stuff and Sega stuff. You remember that?
Yeah, I remember that. Which is always funny when like the mascots would get like into feuds with each other. They just like take pot shots at each another mascot. But I'm not as nostalgic for Crash Bandicoot because I grew up on Spyro.
I did not grow up on Spyro.
But it's very funny because Spyro and Crash Bandicoot had a crossover game.
Didn't even like come across my radar.
Yep. I grew up on Spyro the Dragon. I had a PlayStation 1 game. Or I had tons of PlayStation 1 games.
I played PS2 up to 3.
I mean, you have a PlayStation 5 right now, and you're playing Minecraft on it.
I'm talking about early stuff.
Right. I get what you're saying. I had PlayStation. I had like Nintendo 64. I didn't get a Super Nintendo until a little bit later on. And that was only because I wanted to play Earthbound. But I got to play some other games because at one point I had a goal. I'll explain it in a little bit, but I had PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2, which I had to replace the PlayStation 2 before because I accidentally spilled soda on it. That was incredibly embarrassing. GameCube to me is nostalgic. Oh, remember the Japanese commercial for Link to the Past? Oh, I remember that one. That one was really awesome. Uh, I grew up with PlayStation 3, says JJ. Yeah. Um, there was, speaking of PlayStation 1, and speaking of, like, things that other people would be nostalgic for that I'm not,
Mm-hmm.
and I swear this connects. So, as a kid, I had the Rugrats PlayStation 1 game.
Mm-hmm.
And it was one of the first games other than Kirby 64 that I completely 100%ed.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a song on there that is just like, it sounds very weird. It sounds, but it's Rugrats. So all the music sounds kind of weird.
Mm-hmm.
When you look under the comments section of that Rugrats song, most people are quoting a thing called Day Shift at Freddy's. And it was like a Five Nights at Freddy's parody video game.
Mm-hmm.
And this is because that they used the game maker used the song from Rugrats as the theme for Purple Guy or Arbory I don't know how to pronounce that word. Basically the theme for Purple Guy in that game. So more people who grew up with Jay Shift at Freddy's remember that Rugrats song from from that. They're nostalgic for the Rugrats song, but due to a completely different reason, and it's like so fascinating. Meanwhile, I grew up in like. Meanwhile, I'm just like, huh.
That
I
sounds
rem-
familiar.
huh. That's something that I didn't quite grow up with, but I'm glad that people are recognizing like frickin' Rugrats PS1 game.
Okay, so I remember playing.
Oh, the Wind Waker commercials are so good.
I remember distinctly playing through Toy Story 2. Not all the way through, but I remember distinctly Toy Story 2 on the PS2.
Yeah.
And I remember when you got to, I think, Sid's room,
Oh yeah.
it being the scariest thing.
Ooh, that's a good question. What was like the scariest thing to you that would not make sense to you as an adult, or it's not as scary as an adult?
I have it on immediately, I'm locked in.
Oh boy.
The giant baby from Zombies Ate My Neighbors.
Oh, that's a good one.
The zombies, that's one is really is nostalgic, but two, because Zombies Ate My Neighbors, I didn't play, but my brother played, and I was watching him play, and we got to the part with the giant baby, and that weirded me out for some reason. And I was super scared of little kids because I was worried that they were gonna become giant and smash me. Shut up.
I, I, I'm sorry, just the way you said I was scared of little kids just made me laugh for some reason.
I was.
No, I get it, because as a kid, I was terrified of the Stay Puffed Marshmallow Man as a kid from Ghostbusters. I wasn't afraid of anything else. Everything else was fine, including Zool.
Zoom.
But
Zool.
but frickin' the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man was the thing that made me like terrified. I was so terrified of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man that I was also afraid of the Michelin Tires mascot because it looked very similar to the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man. I wish I were kidding.
So not even Zool. Zool.
Zool didn't scare me. The frickin' like possessed people didn't scare me. But it was the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man that scared me.
It's surprising what scares people.
Exactly. It's like
Okay, so for example, my mom, when she was a kid, went to go see Jaws in theaters.
yeah.
Right? So when she was a little one, her dad took her to see Jaws, and throughout the entirety of the movie, she's fine. She has no problems. It's not until They get back home, and my grandpa tells her that that shark was as big as their two-story house. That she was like, "Oh, nope."
I wasn't afraid of Jaws.
But you didn't see it in theaters as a little kid. But here's the funny thing: is when it re-released, Mom took us as
Oh no!
kids to go see Jaws,
Oh no!
and it gave Pierce a fear of the water. So the cycle didn't repeat itself; it just repeated itself.
Meanwhile, me as a kid, I would watch things like Jurassic Park, and I didn't get scared. As a matter of fact, I was one of those kids who rooted for the dinosaurs, except for the part where the giant velociraptors were chasing the two kids, or were in the kitchen with the two kids.
I thought that was the best part of the movie.
Yeah, it was the best part, and I was terrified of it because
Because it's a puppet. One, you see, here's the thing: Pops worked on movies. And knowing, and see, here's the thing. That's why I wasn't really always scared of movies. Because when your dad's a lighting technician and he knows all the ins and outs and the puppets and like, you know, nothing really phases you too terribly badly.
yeah. And I think that was a thing with me as well because I was very interested in how movies worked as well, even as a kid. But, I was like one of those kids who rooted for the dinosaurs, except for the scene because, they were kids, just like me at the time. And kids being in danger was like, oh no, what if that's like me? But
Oh yes, Angel, you're gonna go to a Jurassic Park and you're gonna get stuck in the kitchen
with
with
velociraptors,
velociraptors. That's gonna totally happen to you.
you never know. You never know. I mean,
I
cassowaries are just. Though to be fair, I am like kind of afraid of geese, not because of like, actually because I don't know why, but I have never met a goose that liked me. I have been chased by them, I have been bit by them, and I've learned to have a healthy fear of them.
geese.
Yes,
You should. They're dangerous.
they are dangerous. They bit me before. They bit my butt before.
Well, they clearly couldn't get through it. There was too much meat.
There was too much meat. But yes. But yeah, so anyways, yeah, I wasn't afraid of the dinosaurs. I was rooting for them as a kid because I was that strange person. And then when like I think it was the director that got eaten, I was like, "Bye bye."
Okay. Another thing, evolution.
Oh.
Movie when me and mom and my brothers all went to go see Evolution. At the end of the movie Evolution, we had asked my sister what she think of the movie, and she gave a very sweet, very cute little voice. That was pretty scary.
Yes. I watched that movie only because of David Duchovny. I was like super into X-Files as a kid. Let me read some comments real quick. Let's see. Young children have crazy imaginations and usually create weird fears that eventually grow out of it as they mature. That is so true. Kyo says, speaking of childhood fears, the man eating fish thing from Jack and Daxter scared me to death as a kid. Oh my gosh, Jack and Daxter is a name I've not heard in ages. I had a very similar to me when I played Pikmin 2 and all the traps drop from the ceiling. That always scared me. Especially the spotty ball bear. Oh my gosh, what about the water wraith? That thing was terrifying. That thing still scares me. I hate that thing. My Nicholas said my parents had a sweet tiger painting that scared me so much I had to sleep with an antique oil lamp next to my bed to ward it off. Fair enough. I think I know what painting you're talking about. Another thing that traumatized me, says Kyo, talking marionette puppet from Goosebumps. Oh, Slappy!
Slappy.
Alexi used to love Slappy because he liked Goosebumps. Geese are Satan's water falcons,
Yeah, they are.
and Kyo says Terry geese. You know what? I'm wearing my Terry hat right now. Maybe that's why geese hate me because because I like Terry or something. I don't know. That's my conspiracy theory. That's just my conspiracy theory on why geese absolutely hate me. I don't know what I did to them.
And you know what? It's just how you're just like a big bread loaf. They mistake you for a loaf of bread, Angel.
They do. They
And
apparently
like,
do.
You are a blowy. That's what they're thinking about.
um. So what was? I've got a question. What was your very first video game that you can remember?
Donkey Kong on the Nintendo.
Super Nintendo or Nintendo 64?
Super Nintendo.
Donkey Kong Country's so pretty.
Mm-hmm. Here's the thing. So, and this is story time, so it might be a little long.
I can handle it.
Okay. So, me and my family, we were playing Donkey Kong, right? And then Mom says we gotta go think for just to visit them, and then we leave Pops back down the housewise. So we have a long visit with our grandparents. When we come back, Pops is at King K. Rool.
Oh wow.
He's at King K. Rool, and Mom and Dad decided to let us stay up the night to watch Dad beat King K. Rool.
That's awesome.
And for me, that was the coolest thing ever.
That is the coolest thing ever.
I learned out later he bought a strategy book on how to beat him, but
You know what? That's
he'd
still
actually
valid.
he'd already beaten him, and that was his second go.
I was gonna say that's still valid. Strategy guides are there for a reason.
Yeah, no. At least that's what I remember. I don't know if that's true or not, but for me, it was King K. Rool. It was watching my pops beat King K. Rool and staying the first time I was allowed to stay up late for something.
Yeah, that is awesome.
And that's the other reason I think King K. Rool is my favorite character, because my dad beat him.
Yes. With me, it's like very fuzzy, but like I think the very first video game that I can think of was Joust for the Arcade, because like back when I was little, we had a Pizza Hut that had an arcade as well, and it had like a little bit more video games than, well, what most Pizza Huts do nowadays. Most Pizza Huts are now, you can't even go inside of them.
All right.
But the Pizza Hut that, or the Pizza U as we liked to call it because of a silly story, um it had an arcade at one point, and it had Joust, which was one that I played all the time. It had a couple of fighting games, Street Fighter 2 Turbo and King of Fighters 98. Um Ultimate Edition, I believe. And it also had they would switch out the games. So I would sometimes also play Pac-Man and Miss Pac-Man. I
Woohoo!
Yep. And those are like, I had the high score in frickin' Miss Pac-Man for a while. Though to be fair, I might have been the only one playing it. But Joust was the game that I remember the most, along with Rampage, because
Rampage.
oh, I loved Rampage. And I was like, stop killing my chicken, because I thought the ostriches were chickens. But I also loved Rampage because where I lived in Illinois was East Peoria. It was like right next to Peoria, the city. And in the original Rampage, the arcade, Peoria, Illinois was the first place you would go to. And so it was like, hey guys, it's like, hey, I'm destroying my own town. I'm destroying the city I live in. Yay! Destruction! You gotta love, like, destroying your own little hometown in a video game.
Right.
Oh my gosh.
I've had an Xbox for the longest time. Not I've had an Xbox 360. As I've never had an upgraded version of any of the current consoles, except for the PlayStation. But I have held on to the 360 since I was 30.
Since you're
Yeah,
like
17 all the way up to 30.
oh wow.
This is this 360. This 360 right here was when I was 17.
And you just never used it?
No, I used it. I just never got rid of it.
You know what? Fair enough, because I had a system that, for the longest time, up until we moved from Illinois to Colorado, I didn't get rid of. And that was one of my very first, I guess, very first video game consoles. It's kind of weird. It's called the Sega Pico. And
Pikachu? The Sega Pikachu?
the Sega Pikachu, I mean, they did actually have a Pokemon game that was like only in Japan. But anyways, the Sega Pico was this edutainment.
Pikachu.
The Sega Pico was this.
Pikachu.
Let me talk.
Okay.
Okay. Anyways, so the Sega Pico was this edutainment system that
Edutainment? You mean entertainment?
it's literally called edutainment. It's short for education and uh entertainment. Because
I'm gonna bully you for a little bit because I can.
yes, I know. Anyways, so it was about like it looked like a laptop. You would open it up and the bottom would have a tablet like surface and it came with a pen. Each system was basically a book that had a Super Nintendo esque or an NES esque cartridge that you would put in, and each page was like a new thing. And each book had like a coloring and drawing option at the end of each things where you could add stickers or color characters or whatnot. And I had so many of those games. And my very first Sonic game was actually from the Sega Pico. There was Sonic Game World and Tails the Music Maker.
So, Batman, the Brave and the Bold.
It kind of does.
That's nostalgic for me.
Oh my gosh, Mom loved Brave and the Bold. Sega Pico. Oh no, Nicholas, don't you bring that up.
What Nicholas told me.
Don't you bring that up.
Tell me, Nicholas.
And also, the Game Freak and Sega made a thing only in Japan. Anyways, Nicholas says Sega Pikachu Sonichu.
Yes, Sonichu.
Sonichu. That is a history that it always comes back to. Yes. Somehow.
I always come back.
But yeah, so like I said, that was my very first game console. That was my very first Sonic game as well. And I loved that thing so much.
You know what, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't want to interrupt you. Now that I'm thinking about it, I did have a couple 360s. What I mean by is it's my only continuous console that I've always had is, I mean, I had literally 360 and only the 360. I've never upgraded to any other Xbox. So I had the Xbox 360 in white. I had the Xbox 360, the Xbox 360. And every time I get the red ring of death, I just get another Xbox 360.
Well, hey, you could have just gotten 3 free Wii U, or not Wii U's, 3 free Wii's.
No, I never got into the Wii.
Okay, well, I have 3 Wii's. And I don't know if I told you the story of why I have 3 Wii's.
No.
Okay, so one of our neighbors was throwing out, for some unknown reason, 2 Wii's. And they still and I still had my old one from back when I was like a teenager.
You're never a teenager. You're just always been small.
I've just always been small, but yes. And so I literally have three working Wii's because we took the Wii's home to see if
You
they would
went
actually
wee all the way home.
wee all the way home and then test it out to see if they worked, and they do.
Like the little piggy that said wee all
The
the way
way home,
home.
yes. And they still work.
Anyone remember that commercial?
Oh gosh, yes, that was like kind of a family inside joke for a moment. Reminds me of the NES bootleg Somari. I actually used to have a bootleg console. Um, Nicholas says I preferred the 360 when it had blades to sort of things instead of that updated not me's. And Kyo says I used to have two Wii's, but I lost one of them when we moved a long time ago. Yeah, I feel that one. But yeah, so I have three working Wii's. I don't know what I'm gonna do with them.
Well,
Never figured it out.
smash them to get together and make a supercomputer.
I don't think I want to do that.
Smash them together and make them work for Nintendo.
Yeah. Used Wii's are fun to find because you can see other people's Mii's and virtual console games. Funny enough, the Wii's that I found didn't have virtual console games, but they did have like Mii's. And some of them you could tell were probably like school friends or family.
Didn't when I give you my 3DS, you got all my Mii's?
Yeah, and one of them was like very funny looking.
Which one was that?
Yep.
Which one was it?
It was literally just called BB.
Oh yes, I remember that.
Yeah, and I found it really funny, and I was like so tempted to put it in Tomodachi Life.
You should have.
I should have, but I didn't because you're like, get rid of it.
Well, I wanted you to get rid of it because it was your thingy now.
Yeah,
But you should, if you felt like not listening to me, you didn't have to listen to me.
I know, but I was just like, I had other plans for Tomodachi Life.
And it didn't involve BB.
Not that me, at least.
Well, I could always remake it.
You can't always remake it. That is true. Ow. Anyways, you could mod one of them to play online games again. That's a good idea, Kyo. I can see how to do that. Because we do actually have three Wii's, we could possibly do that.
Wee. You bring it up, I'm gonna keep doing it.
Let's see. Any other questions?
Yeah.
Because I think we should go about like 10 more minutes. Because
Alright, I think I have best nostalgic food.
ooh, nostalgic food.
For me, it's the McDonald's apple pie.
Ooh, those are so good. With me, that's a tricky question.
It's tricky.
That's a good song. With me, I think the most nostalgic food that I can think of is probably oddly enough oatmeal, cause like
Oh, that's good.
yeah, cause my grandma and I would make oatmeal all the time growing up, and sometimes we'd have sugar. We just
Real
add like a bunch of
fast.
sugar. What?
Real fast, I just want to say this. If you're getting like death row and it's like your last meal, and they say, "What's your last meal?" For me, it's gonna be a McDonald's apple pie or a McRib, like something they can't actually get because they discontinued it.
I mean, yeah. I mean, the McRibs still do come in.
It comes in, but no, like the when it first came out, the McRib, not
Yeah.
the newest McRib. No,
Yeah, I got so disappointed in the newest McRibs.
Yeah, no, I would if it was my like they were like, "What's your last meal?" I want the OG McRib sandwich, and then you can't have that. Well, get it.
I'll get it.
Find a way to get it.
I'm not dying without my frickin' McRibs.
Yeah, right. I didn't want to sidetrack it. I just thought about that for like a hot minute.
Yeah, so like we'd have oatmeal all the time, and There was actually one diner that we used to go to that was also pretty nostalgic. I don't remember the name anymore.
Is it Waffle House?
It wasn't Waffle House. It was a very local diner.
Is it Waffle House?
It's not Waffle House. It was a local diner. It
It's
wasn't even like a chain. It was just
It's
like a
Waffle House.
local diner.
It's Waffle House.
We didn't even have Waffle Houses in the Midwest.
Well, then that's why there's storms and tornadoes and crazy things. Because Waffle House determines whether or not something should be bad.
And not because it's part of Tornado Alley or anything like that.
No, there's a legitimate like storm, like the prevention of like storms and other things determines how bad a storm is based on whether or not Waffle House is open.
I didn't know that was an actual thing.
No, okay, so like real fast. So like during hurricanes, storms, floods, especially during like natural disasters. So during certain natural disasters, if a Waffle House has low people, they'll send home people who need to get home, but then they'll bring in people from another Waffle House that isn't having the natural disaster to run the Waffle House.
I have never heard of this.
So the storm prevention like unit or whatever it is, determines how bad a storm is, or determines whether or not it's going to be like a real bad thing. Is if the Waffle House is closed, then the world is ending because Waffle House doesn't close.
We never had a Waffle House in the Midwest.
So that's what I'm trying to figure out. Is then the Midwest is doomed because it doesn't have Waffle House. They need to get a Waffle House, so they need to know how terrible a storm is.
Speaking of tornadoes and food and talking about the Pizza Hut, I almost forgot about the Pizza U story. So, like I said, the Midwest does get tornadoes because it's part of Tornado Alley. And, well,
But does it have Waffle House?
It does not have Waffle House. It's the Midwest.
It's the
Anyways, so there was a tornado that went by and it did quite a bit of damage to the town. However, the Pizza Hut was still intact and fine, but the only thing that it was missing was the H and the T in the big bold Pizza Hut letters that were on the roof. So it looked like it said Pizza U, and that was what we called it for the longest time,
Yes.
even after they fixed the sign.
It's pizza you can have.
It's pizza you can have. It's Pizza U.
Hey, did you know that the little table that comes on pizzas? Remember the little table?
Yeah, those things, the little dividers. I actually did use them for like arts and crafts projects.
No. But there's a legitimate reason that they had the little table.
Oh, what was the reason?
Okay, it's to help separate the pizza.
That's what I meant by dividers.
Yeah, but it's like it's that little table. The
little tiny looks like it could be for a mouse table.
Yes, or a roach.
Yep. Like I said, I actually used those for like a little project I did for like a little Barbie doll house.
Yeah, no, they were used. The actual use is for the pizza itself. It's to help divide.
Oh my gosh, that's a thing. Kyo says that sounds like a Captain Underpants reference.
What?
I guess the Pizza U thing.
Yeah, it does.
Kind of does.
Are they talking about the Waffle House and how it's used as a deterrent for how severe the storm is?
Yeah. Candy equals Hershey s'more bar equals actual food equals the nachos and chicken tendies from Kmart's food court. I forgot Kmart used to have a food court.
Oh my god, Kmart's food court.
Yeah, because we actually had a Kmart like down the street back where I lived in Illinois.
Oh my god, Kmart in general, like
I haven't seen a Kmart.
It doesn't exist.
Yeah, I haven't seen a Kmart in like so long.
It doesn't exist.
It doesn't exist.
Just like Pick and Save and other places that don't exist anymore.
Right.
Okay. No, Pick and Save became Big Lots, and then Big Lots disappeared.
We did we had something in Illinois that was kind of this like really cool thing. Like, you know how we go to thrift stores every now and again?
Yeah.
There was this one store that um it was very similar to only deals that we go to occasionally. And because we lived near a train depot, sometimes they would bring in like cargo from train deliveries that never made it through and would sell them. We used to go to this little area all the time to see if we could like buy clothing or buy knickknacks.
Paddywhacks, give a duck a bone.
Exactly. And I actually had like a cool Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time shirt that I got from there that I outgrew.
You don't outgrow anything. You're little.
You would be surprised how much I outgrow.
Yeah, I don't. All I see is just a little person, little bitty.
Careful, you're gonna stab me with those scissors.
I wouldn't do that.
You're cutting like scales or whatever you're doing.
I'm doing other things because I can.
Yeah, no, I get that. He's like trying to cut like this fabric with scissors.
Felt.
Felt. Oh, that's felt.
It's felt.
Oh wow, that is some really pretty felt. Okay, it's like it looks like fish scales.
It's more like dragon scale.
Macy's. Oh my gosh, that was another thing.
Oh my god, Macy's!
There was another thing that I loved that was called
Barnacle Boy.
Barnacle. No.
No, I'm just filling in words.
It was called not Claire's. It was like there was like this little girls shop that I would go to. It was very similar to Claire's, but it had like more things to it. It's where I got all of my Neopet toys at the time.
Oh my god, Neopets.
God, I loved Neopets.
I never really got into Neopets, but I understood the appeal.
Yeah, I had so many Neopet plushies. Anyways, so I would go there just to buy a bunch of Neopet plushies. They also had a couple of Animal Crossing figures, and I had not seen those Animal Crossing figures anywhere. And like this was before GameStop would sell video game
Okay, okay,
stuff.
okay, okay, okay. What was the best McDonald's toy you ever got?
Oh, the best McDonald's toy I ever got. Okay, maybe not McDonald's, but it's still like fast food toy. Back when I was a kid, Burger King had this thing where it had nothing but Pokemon toys. They had to change the Pokeball design a bit because of a safety issue, and there was like a very creepy PSA about that. But anyways, um, you would be able to like get a kid's meal, buy so many each little toy had so many Pokemon. I think it had like 52 of them. It was like an intense amount of Pokemon. And we would just have like Burger King for days because we wanted to collect them all. We never did. But what was your best McDonald's toy?
Now I remember it distinctly, and mostly just because I lost it, and it makes me sad. Um, this was back when the Pirates of the Caribbean came out.
Yeah,
Curse of the
that's the
Black
reason.
Pearl, right?
Yeah.
So Curse of the Black Pearl, I think just came out or was releasing, and it was partnered with McDonald's, and they had like these little plushies, and some of them were pirate skeletons, and some of them weren't. And I had a little like a keychain ring style plushie, and I loved that thing. It was a skeletal pirate, which fit with my motif at the time, and I loved it. I loved it, and I think when we moved, I lost it, and I just
Aww.
I've never found anything like it. I've never seen anything like it. I don't even remember what it was, what it completely looked like. But whenever I go to thrift stores and I look through toys, my brain always goes down to like, it's got to exist somewhere.
No, I get that because I had like this Paratroopa from Mario toy that I used to absolutely love, and I lost it one day and I could never find it again.
Mm.
But another one that I can remember was like, speaking of Neopets, I can't remember if it was McDonald's or Burger King.
No one's speaking of Neopets, but okay.
Well, I was speaking of Neopets like moments ago.
No one was speaking of Neopets.
But anyways, I can't remember if it was Burger King or McDonald's or some other fast food chain, but they had Neopets, and each Neopet, despite being like the same six, I think, were in different colors. So like, you could open one and it could be a Kachik that's blue, and then you open up another one and it could be a Kachik that's pink. And I would collect so many of these little Neopets.
Is this for your collection for Foxers Gaming to play?
Oh, that came in long before. That was my thing of collecting, probably came from the frickin' love of collecting all of those singing toys that you move by or they got light activated.
Oh, right. I remember you telling me about that.
Yeah, mom mom told you about that.
Mm-hmm.
Mom and I told you about that. Okay, context. When I was little, like, I don't remember how little, I used to collect all of these like singing toys that they would be like the Valentine's devil that would sing like it's hot hot hot, or the sunflower that would sing you are my sunshine, or stuff like that. I had so many of those, and they would be they're light activated. So whenever mom would turn on my light in my room, suddenly a cacophony of all these toys, because I had like 20 of them, would start singing at once.
Oh, that's. Oh, I can't even think about the cacophonable noise pollution.
Now imagine thunderstorms.
Oh no! God damn it! I would be so angry at you.
There were times where mom would like secretly turn them off or take out the batteries. Okay, one more question before like we get off, because like it's almost 2 hours and I am getting a little hungry. What was like the one toy that you played with so much that it annoyed your parents?
Okay. So it didn't annoy. It wasn't a toy, and it didn't really annoy my parents, but it did bother my eldest brother. So I, as a little guy, like to dress as a pirate.
Oh my gosh.
I like to dress as a pirate. There was Christmas pictures of me as a pirate. There are there was tons of pictures throughout dressed as me as a pirate, right? I had
Mm-hmm.
my pirate hat on. I would dress as I'd have my pirate pants, and and like mom didn't really completely have any problem with it, and dad seemed to be okay. But it bothered my eldest brother Pierce. And he one day asked my mom, "Why do you let him do that? Why do you let him dress like a pirate?" And she's like, "It doesn't hurt anything. He's not doing anything to bother you. What's the problem?" So yeah, that's my answer.
Okay, so when I was a kid, I had a bop it.
Twist it,
Pull it.
yank it,
And I
spank
played
it.
it.
All right, I was. That's the last one. That's the
Okay,
last
okay. You can have one adult joke as a treat.
one. Hooray! Letting me be myself.
But anyways, so um
Technically, I got two in there.
true. Anyways, so I had a bop it and I played with this darn thing all the time. And it's the same like little bop it that if you lose it has like it's the same scream, the same stock scream sound effect that's used in Metal Slug when the enemies get hit by a grenade. It sounds like ow. Anyways, I played with that thing so many times that my mom actually grounded me from it because she was so tired of hearing the same things over and over again. I ended up getting like 1,000 points at one point on that thing. I played with it that much. I played with it in the car. I played with it at home. I played with it when we went to like my cousin's house.
I play with it in the street. I play with
Pretty
it
much.
in the church. I play with it in
Oh
the
God, my church would hate me. They would have hated that thing in there. I wasn't allowed to bring it to church.
I played with it until I died.
If I still had it, I probably would have.
I know what to get you for your birthday. Get you a bop it.
Yep, but it's gotta have the same. It's gotta be the old Bop It, not the new one that like doesn't have the scream. I want the iconic scream one.
Oh, okay, then I can never get you that.
I'm sure you can. I'm sure it's out there.
Somewhere, just like that pirate, that's just like that pirate plushie
Just
exists.
yeah, exactly. And I'm pretty sure it's out there, much like the freaking. Oh my gosh. Kyo says I had a squeaky Patrick toy as a kid that my dad hated. I remember squeaking that thing over and over and over again before bedtime. That's probably why my dad despised it because it kept him awake at night. You know, in hindsight, that's probably why my mom hated it because it's like I would play even before bed. But yeah. Oh no, and it deflated eventually.
Did it deflate or did your dad get rid of it?
I don't know. But Nicholas said my favorite toy from Burger King was the Nintendo toy line in 2003. The one that offered the free Game Boy Advance if you got the golden toy. I never got that golden toy, but I know exactly what you're talking about. Because we tried to get that golden toy. Um, let's see here. I should try to find my old Pokemon cards. Some of them might be worth a fortune. Maybe.
Depends upon
Silly Bones every Halloween. Let's see here. Yeah, some of those Pokemon cards from McDonald's are not tournament friendly, funny enough. But yeah. So, anything else you want to say before we leave?
Oh well, how about we talk about what's our next topic, my friend?
I don't know yet because on the 20th, I will be going on a trip.
On the famous rocket ship flying
To the sky. Oh gosh, that's also pretty nostalgic. Asher grew up with that one, but I grew up with it just as much. But anyways.
What's gonna work? Teamwork.
Oh
What's gonna work? Teamwork.
Not as bad as the hot dog song, but I remember getting that song.
Hot dog.
Oh no, do I have to recite the hot dog story?
No, but I do. So when my niece was little,
yeah,
we were watching her, and we had to, she's little, so we put on whatever little beat bop show to entertain her. And at the time was Mickey Mouse Clubhouse. So whenever it would come on, everybody in the house would go hot dog. But that became just sort of a thing that we would do in the house anyway. Long after she started watching it, and every now and again you go around the house and you're hot dog.
Oh my gosh, I probably would have hated that because when one of my brothers was little, they would watch he would watch Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, and that song got so ingrained in my head for about a month that sometimes it would appear in dreams.
Hot dog.
And I even had like a dream because I'm a lucid dreamer. I even had a dream where I kind of broke the fourth wall, to put in quotes, where I just like kept trying to push it away, and I'm like, "Shut up! Get out of my head!"
Summertime.
But yeah, so anyways, on the 20th, I'm gonna be going on a trip, and it's not gonna be long. We're just going to be going out of town for about a day or two, and then come home.
Or 3 or 4.
Definitely not 3 or 4. But
how many lumps of sugar do you want? I don't know.
But I might make another poll, maybe like reactive bad video game music again, or I don't know. What would you want to do?
What do I want to do? Terrible descriptions of things. You give me a thing.
Oh my gosh,
I
yes.
give you a bad description. You give have the chat give me a description of a thing. I give them my very bad description of what they want.
Yes.
So if you folks at home want to play bad descriptions of beloved objects, I will gladly play that with you folks.
Yes, because sometimes what he will do is like make it the opposite. So it's not what you expect.
Either I'm lying, making it the opposite, or I am really good at making a really bad description of a thing that clearly, like, it's almost right, but it's clearly really wrong.
Yes, yes. Oh, they're excited by that idea. All right, so that will probably be after the 20th.
All right, folks, I can't wait to play bad descriptions of a thing. So get ready, folks. I want you to start making lists of whatever thing your fandom or like you're really excited about, and I will give you the worst description.
And I might even have to guess it.
Oh, you're definitely gonna have to guess some of these.
Oh, I can't wait.
All right.
And who knows, maybe I'll accidentally guess Super Duper Sumos at some point.
I will never give you a bad description of Super Duper Sumos.
Like I said, if this video gets 100 likes, which you'll never do, I will do a Super Duper Sumo.
Can't set goals because they will make those goals come true. You don't understand the power of YouTube.
True, I don't understand the power of YouTube, but it's a possibility. Anyways, see you later.